Everyone, you may or may not stand when the opening ritual calls for you to do so. That's certainly up to you.
And please mute yourself before we start the opening ritual so that you're all muted. Please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Deborah. Eternal brothers and sisters, we are now about to open a Church of Light meeting in the customary manner, and in so doing, let us consider seriously the purpose for which we are here gathered together. The purpose which, since the dawn of human intelligence, has drawn true brothers and sisters of the light into holy convocation. The purpose which, during all ages, has attracted the spiritual efflorescence of every epoch together at selected meeting places. The purpose which has ever impelled the noblest and most exalted souls of earth to band together for a common effort. That purpose is to study nature's laws, to unfold the divine attributes of the soul, to secure conscious immortality, and to attain the royal grandeur that surrounds the true perfected human. As has been the custom for eons past, let us arise and face the east, from whence each day the sun first sheds his all-illuminating rays upon the children of earth. And bear in mind that even as all energy, light, and warmth upon the earth are derived from the soul of Father, so in truth all life, light, and love are derived from God, the spiritual Father, whose all-providing care was symbolized in the minds of our ancient brothers and sisters by the orb of day. Let us now make the symbol of the religion of the stars. We stand to indicate active volition, with right hand raised to heaven in aspiration to divine knowledge and power, and the left hand extended to earth as a pledge that such knowledge and power will be used only in spirit and in truth for the benefit of humanity. You may lower your hand and I will pronounce the invocation. O thou eternal spirit, in whom we live, move, breathe, and have our being, consecrate this meeting to the cause of truth and righteousness. As brothers and sisters of the light, we seek knowledge at the shrine of goodness. Therefore, by virtue of our unselfishness and sincerity in desiring to assist in thy works, we ask the help of the legions of light and their protection from all forces of darkness. So shall it be.
So shall it be.
So shall it be. Okay. So here we are. Again, to those of you who are just arriving, my name is Vanessa Brown and I will be the MC. I have assisting me two wonderful women, Vega Osicki and Peg Josher. Also for moral support is Deborah Yaffe. I don't know who else is here for moral support, but I know that I've got the support of quite a few people, and I thank you very much and certainly appreciate your efforts. Now, I was asked to do Astrology 101 when I asked Meg Dissinger at a service, at a Sunday service, if we could have a forum to discuss astrology. And she said, sure, you can teach it. And if you read the quarterly, you'll see that I felt as though I had really stepped in it, but it has turned out to be a blessing because it has forced me to do some more concentrated study. I joined the Church of Light in 1976 and went full steam ahead until and completed lesson 7. I started horary astrology and learned how to do the math to erect a horoscope, but then life got in the way. I was a teacher with New York City and would get the charts of all of my students and work them out and look at how I could do this one and what should I do for that one. And then it just got too busy. However, I never really left astrology for too long. I remember scaring away several suitors as I read their charts, because I hit too many things on the head. And I left the formal and concentrated study and didn't come back to it until I had retired. I retired from New York City in 2008. In 2015, I studied. I took transcendental meditation, and that has helped settle me and certainly give me a different kind of discipline when studying astrology. In 2017, I attended my first conference and I was hooked. And by 2020, I had completed all 21 lessons and became a hermetician, which gives me the papers that say I can teach this class. And as I said before, when I opened up, you're going to teach me as much as I might present to you. So here we go with Astrology 101. I would like you to, if you have the course outline, I would like you to look at that. And I'll tell you how it's going to break down. Tonight, we're going to do the 2 keys and as much of the Zodiac as we can until we have to part ways at around 9:30. In session 2, I expect to finish the rest of the Zodiac as well as, and perhaps even start the planets. Session 3 will do the planets. I expect to do 2 lessons for the planets. Session 5 will be the houses. Session 5 and 6 will be the houses. Session 7 will talk about aspects. And we're going to do a little bit of math, so you're going to need some scrap paper. And session 7, session 8, if we don't need additional time for the meat of this class, we'll do an overview of chart delineation. We're not going to read anybody's charts. However, I do advise that you have your own chart ready for reference so that you can look at the things in your chart and compare them to different things that we're talking about in the class. The Church of Light recommends that everybody know their chart thoroughly, so that, because it is a map of what you're supposed to be doing. And no one can read your chart better than you. So you take this and you use your chart as you are being exposed to the information that I'm going to present over the next 8 weeks. Are there any questions?
You can unmute yourselves and ask.
Yes, this is Cynthia. I have a question. So I got the email with the link to the Google Drive, but I didn't have access.
Right. Okay. We can give you access. However, there's only one worksheet needed tonight, and it is in the chat box. There's one worksheet needed for tonight's class, and it's in the chat box. It's at the top of the chat.
All right. Let me log in from my computer then, because I'm not going to be able to get that on my phone.
The chat.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Vanessa?
Yes.
Everyone who is a member of the Church of Light should have their charts, but if you do not have your charts and you want one, you can ask me to make you one and I can send it to you via email. So
you can also ask me if you can ask either one of us.
This is Jennifer Hawkins. I didn't receive the email with the Google Drive link. Could somebody send that to me? Or can I reach out to somebody about that?
Jennifer, we need your email address in order to be able to give you permission to access that stuff. The email address that you can use is NESSAB. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me, I didn't see, you said the handout we need is at the top. I'm on an iPhone. Does that mean why I can't see it? Do I need to get my tablet?
It would probably be better to use a tablet rather than an iPhone.
I'm on a
Yeah, I don't
computer. I
think-
can't see it.
I'm on a computer and I can't see it either.
Oh, okay, so this
I'll
is
put
what
it
you're gonna
back
do.
on. It's no big deal. It can be put back on there.
Which worksheet is it, Vega?
It is
Worksheet.
the signs, and I've got it
The
right.
signs?
Yeah, worksheet signs.
Put back
Yeah.
up.
Oh, there it
Oh,
is.
I have that worksheet with yeah, those two worksheets, yeah.
That's the one you need tonight.
Okay. Gotta get my chart.
Okay, as you see, we are doing Astrology 101, and it's an introduction to the signs, the planets, the houses, and aspects. This is akin, I'd like to equate it in level to learning basic math, to learning addition and subtraction. So there are certainly connections that you can make. But we are not going to be focusing on delineation, nor will we read any one person's chart. We're going to be focusing on the meaning of the signs, the planets, the houses, and the aspects. I like to think of the signs as the way in which a planet will express itself. It flavors the planet. The houses are the auditorium. And depending on which house something is in, the auditorium, and which seat you're in, you're going to get a different sound. And the aspects describe the relationships that the planets and the signs have with each other. The planets to planets have with each other, and the planets in the sign, how they have a relationship with each other, whether these relationships are challenging or whether or not they are smooth and a little easy. There are no bad planets. There are no bad signs. There are no bad houses, and there are no bad aspects. Different things present different challenges to different people. That's why you need to be aware of astrology and how it affects you when you look and study your chart. This will give you plenty of fodder for thought and topics that you might not have considered before. Okay? Cool. There we go. So this is again what we're going to be doing today. This is the course outline. You'll see that the outline, we're going to start the 2 keys and the Zodiac today. We're going to talk about the silver key and the gold key and the Zodiac. Now, when we're presenting and let me just go on because I'm going to get ahead of myself and we don't need that. So what are the 2 keys? And anybody have an idea? The 2 keys are the tarot.
Astrology and
Silver
tarot.
key is,
And the
Astrology.
Yep,
Astrology
the
is the
tarot
gold
is the
key.
silver key and astrology is the gold key.
Mhm.
So we have the sacred tarot. I've got to, okay. The silver key is the sacred tarot. And the tarot is a form of divination. The tarot relates, it is, come on. Oh, it's not going to behave. There we go. It's receptive. The tarot is feminine. It's receptive. It is fluid. It reports images and sensations of what you feel. It is not written in stone. That's why every time you can throw the tarot for the same question 10 times and get 10 different answers. Because each time you get an answer, you get something else to think about, and that changes how you're going to approach whatever it is you threw the tarot for in the first place. It's as I said, a tool of divination, and information received, and it makes changes or it remains the same. Now, the tarot relates to astrology, that the major arcanum is the planets and the signs. Each planet and each sign is assigned to one of the major arcanum. The minor arcanum talks about the decanates of astrology. So each astrological sign, and we're not going to go into this now because that's a whole nother course, but each astrological sign can be broken up into 10 degrees each. There are 30 degrees in each sign. So Aries has 3 separate sections. The first section, the first 10 degrees of Aries is Aries. So it's a full-blown Aries. Whereas the second 10 degrees from 11 to 20 of Aries is an Aries with a Leo influence. And the third 10 degrees of Aries is Aries with a Sagittarian influence. And that can be applied to all of the signs in the zodiac according to the order in which they appear in the zodiac. So now we're looking at the gold key, which, as you know, is astrology. Astrology is aggressive. It is not a tool of divination. It is an ancient tool that has been risen to the level of science because it uses tools of science in order to validate its answers. They have been thoroughly researched and observed to produce a particular effect every time. Now, every ancient culture has a form of astrology, that we are experiencing now, the Chinese New Year, and the Chinese New Year is a lunar New Year. There's the year of the rabbit, the year of the dog, and the year of the dragon. All of it, that's part of Chinese astrology. As Vedic astrology, which I'm really not that familiar with, so you'll have to take your key from there. Astrology reports on current conditions, and these can be verified because it happens more or less the same time. Astrology has been used by every culture, particularly before the age of enlightenment, when it was more important to control people rather than to allow them to think. If you look at the Old Testament, you see that many references to astrology are made, and that the current rulers would consult their astrologer in order to move forward in a particular way. Say Joseph and his amazing, wonderful Technicolor, he was an astrologer. That's why he was so sought after. And the Magi who went to followed that star. Where did they find that star? They were astrologers to find Jesus. So astrology fell out of favor because this is my opinion. Astrology fell out of favor because it allowed people to think and to have too much control over their own lives rather than to allow and let somebody else dictate to them what it was that they were supposed to do. So to modify your energies to accomplish desired goals depending on the weather, the astrological, the spiritual weather. Just as every morning you get up and you might, I know that I do, I refer to the weather report to see how I should get dressed. Well, this is how you should spiritually get dressed, by using astrology. It's scientifically based because they've used scientific methods in order to verify their findings. And the branches of astrology that are taught by the Church of Light are natal astrology, mundane astrology, horary astrology, election, weather, predicting, and medical astrology. And I just have the piece of paper that outlined course 2, astrological signatures, course 7, spiritual astrology, course 8, Horary Astrology, course 13. Well, stellar astrology, mundane astrology, and weather predicting. Those are all of the courses that are available in the 21 courses that deal with astrology. Now, in presenting all of these lessons today, and this comes from directly out of Astrological Signatures, chapter 1 and 2, we're going to be presented using the magical quaternary, and that is the Jod He Va He, which is 4, 3, 2, 1. And you have, if you have read the quarterly, the most recent quarterly, you know that Sensa wrote a book, and he talks about the numbers and their spiritual and associations, and he talks about this quaternary, the 4, 3, 2, 1. If you add 4, 3, 2, 1, it adds up to 10, and 10 is the beginning of another cycle. So that's what we're going to use here. We're going to do is use the Jod He Va He. Jod is our introduction. It initiates action. The He reacts to the opener. Va is a marriage and joins the initiation to the reaction. The He presents the whole thing as one whole unit. So in looking at astrology, in looking at the zodiac, we're going to look at first the elements. And how many elements are there? There are 4. The 4 elements are fire, earth, air, and water. We're then going to look at the qualities. And the qualities are movable, mutable, and fixed. And there's also degree of emanation, and the degree of emanation are 3 in number as well. And those degree of emanation are the first, the second, and the third. And then the last, the 2 talks about polarity or the sex of the signs. And the last is to present the signs as a whole zodiac. So,
Excuse me, Vanessa, can you repeat? You said the movable, the fixed, and
movable, mutable, and fixed.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm gonna barrel along unless you stop me. just to let everybody know, I'm gonna keep on pushing unless you stop me. And I have no problems with questions. Please do stop me. I'm going to assume that you're understanding what I'm talking about if you don't stop me. And I'm going to continue going on. So let's talk about the elements first. And the first element that we want is fire. How many people are in class, are with us today? Let's get to the chat.
It says 46.
Okay, so I would like, well, let's do this first. How the fire signs are Aries,
Leo.
Leo,
I'm a Leo.
and Sagittarius. And they are presented here in their order of movable. Another word for movable, the word that I first learned was called cardinal. Leo is a fixed sign and Sagittarius is a mutable sign. If we're going through the zodiac, we get the first 4 elements and the first 4 signs that present themselves. So the second element is earth. And the first earth element that presents itself happens to be Taurus. However, Taurus is fixed. And the movable or cardinal earth sign is Capricorn. Taurus is the fixed sign and Virgo is the mutable sign.
Can you just kind of explain when you said they're going to be, the order that they're presented, but one is fixed? I didn't understand. So you do something different if it's not a certain quality?
No. If you look at your handout, yeah, I'm going to be naming all 12 signs now. If you look at your handout, the handout talks about all of these things. So we're looking at the element first.
Fire.
So if you look at your handout, and all of the signs are written in the order in which they appear throughout the year. So it starts Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Okay. So as I'm going through the elements, refer to that handout and write the element in.
Okay.
I haven't gotten to the quality yet, so don't worry about that yet,
Oh,
RJ.
okay.
I'm going to go to that a second time. I'm going to go to that again. So with the fire element are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The earth element is Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Air are Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. And water, we've got Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Now,
Water.
fire.
Libra. Oh. Libra.
Now, fire people tend to be quite in. Excuse me?
Excuse me for 1 second. Rhiannon? Is there a Rhiannon here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I have put the worksheet up in the chat box.
Yeah, I've got the chat open on my laptop. I don't see it in there.
If it is in there.
Okay.
Scroll up and down in the chat box and see. They've been put in there several times. All you do is click on it and it'll open. And then you can download it or save it or whatever you plan to do.
Okay, I've got the entire chat box here and there's no link. So I guess I don't understand what I'm missing, but it's fine.
Yeah, I don't see any link, anything in there.
Well, it's all in there. Look under everyone.
Scroll up and down through the chat box.
You'll see it as a PDF. Is anybody else having this problem?
I don't see them.
It shows as a gray box inside of the chat. It doesn't look like a regular message on my side.
Looks like the chat box has been dumped. It looks like the chat box has been dumped. And
I don't see it at all.
one, right, the first one we have up there is at 8:27.
So Rhiannon, most of the people that are on here are seeing it. So I'm wondering if maybe it could be an issue with your computer or whatever. I'm not a computer person, so I really can't help you there. But
You have to scroll in the chats too. It's not.
It's not on my chat either. I've
Yeah,
Yeah, so the chat is not going to be available if they arrived after you posted it. So somebody said they came in at 8:27. So you would need to post it again for anybody.
okay, we've been posting it right along. I'll keep posting it and keep doing it. Okay.
Maybe I'll get my tablet. I don't know. I could be.
I just
Yafi posted it at around
I just posted
8:30.
it again.
So yeah, there's several posts now. So anybody that's on here now should be able to see it. It's like 7 times right now.
Look at my tablet.
Okay. I'm gonna get off the soapbox. I just wanted to make sure you guys got it. I will send anybody who needs anything, just ask Vega at light.org tomorrow, and I will be more than happy to do that for you.
Okay, this is what it looks like. And right now, this is the first six the first 6 signs, and the second page shows the last 6 signs. You see, it has a space for the symbol or the glyph. It names the sign. It says element, quality, sex, rule, harmony, exalt, emanation, and keyword. And then there's a space underneath that for you to write descriptions of the particular sign.
If you are
And how that
showing the,
particular sign manifests itself. Excuse me?
if you're showing the signs worksheet, it's not appearing on the Zoom. We still see your PowerPoint. So for those who are searching for the document, they aren't able to see it.
Okay.
Yeah, she needs to look at her picture.
You have to find your picture.
Yeah, you have to find Vanessa's picture. And she was showing it on her video instead of her. She was holding it up.
Okay.
Of course, I have it in something shiny and it's hard to see. Is that a little better? I mean, you're not going to see it.
I see it as a screen, but not in the chat. Yeah, now I see it.
Oh, shut up.
So, let's see.
So in the box that says element, for Aries, you're going to write fire.
Okay.
For Taurus, you're going to write earth.
Earth.
Gemini is air. And Cancer is water. The next 4 signs repeat: fire, earth, air, water. And the last 4 signs repeat the same thing: fire, earth, air, and water. Fire people tend to be enthusiastic, full of energy, quick, daring, courageous. I'm just talking about the element. So the element of people within the element of fire can be inspirational. A key word for fire, for the element of fire, is inspiration. I think of earth people as very practical and down to earth. And they are just as sensual as Scorpio thinks they are. Earth people have a different kind of patience and are willing to work until they get it done. Even the movable sign of Capricorn, because movable signs tend to be impatient. But because Capricorn is earth, it tends to just keep plugging in there until it's finished. It makes useful application of everything that it comes in contact with. So the key word for the earth element is practicality. Air signs. So how quickly does air move? And that's what you're looking at with air signs. Air signs rule the intellect in whatever form. They tend to be nervous, well-read, love to talk, oftentimes very good speakers. And they aspire.
Is that very good what? Very good what?
Speakers.
Oh, speakers,
Talkers,
yeah.
speakers, yeah.
Mhm.
And the key word for air sign is aspiration. And water, you need a bucket to keep us together. Water is emotion. And water signs can be very sensitive. Water signs have an easier time to pick up the reactions of people because they are so sensitive and they're so afraid you're gonna hurt my feelings. Hello? They tend to be domestic, home-centered, they're sympathetic, timid, although all of the water signs that I know aren't necessarily that timid. And that's perhaps also because of the other signs and the way their chart is constructed. But water signs do tend to step back and they have to digest something before they're going to come out and really commit to something. So we have the 4 elements. We're going on Jod Havahe. So we start with 4 and we started with the 4 elements. Any questions?
Yes. What did you say the key word is for water?
Emotions.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And what is the key word for fire?
The fire for the is inspiration. No,
Inspiration.
yeah, inspiration. Inspiration. For air is aspiration. Now, the key word, this is for the element, not for the sign. And unfortunately, on that worksheet that I gave you, I did not give you a place for a keyword for the elements because there's a separate keyword for each sign.
Okay.
Okay. So now we've done 4. Now we're going to go to 3. And we have 3 qualities. Anytime you want to move. There we go. We have 3 qualities. And I've already talked about them, movable, fixed, and mutable. Now I put them in that way, although Zane tends to list them as movable, mutable, and fixed. They appear in the Zodiac, movable, fixed, and then mutable. So there are 3 qualities and there are 4 sets of signs in those 3 qualities. So let's talk about the movable or the cardinal signs first. And those signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn.
Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Cap.
So in the section that says quality, for Aries, it's movable. For Taurus, it's fixed. For Gemini, it's mutable. Cancer is movable. Leo is fixed.
Wait, you're going a little too fast for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went ahead of myself. I'm sorry. We're just doing the movable. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Movable. Aries, right? Movable. Cancer, movable. The top of the second page of the signs is Libra, and that is movable. And the last movable sign is Capricorn.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why does Zizi Zane call the cardinal signs movable? Was that just an older term?
Yes, it's just another term. They're interchangeable. As I first learned cardinal.
Yeah, I did as well.
Although
Vanessa,
movable,
if I can answer that question.
Mhm.
I learned it like this. If you're a movable sign, you're more likely to create a situation that you really would like to manifest. If you're a fixed sign, you're more likely to take that project that the movable sign did and really work it out. And then the mutables come in and they do the actual job. That's how I learned it. That's just me.
Oh, and which is what I was going to, we are of the same mind, Vega, but we've talked about this before. A movable, the key word for the qualities. Now remember, this is a quality, and all of the movable signs share this keyword, and they are pioneers. They have, in their element, they express the highest level of activity in their element. As Vega said, they find something that they want to happen and they make it happen. They put it out there. And then the fixed sign comes and picks it up and develops it. But the movable signs are pioneers.
They initiate change.
They initiate change. They initiate action, whatever action. Aries are daring and adventurous. Cancers initiate action in domestic areas. Libra in art and literature and communication. Capricorn in business and industry. So the next quality, yeah?
No, thank you.
Okay. The next quality is fixed. And the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius.
Oh. Okay.
Hello?
Okay, so you said Taurus is fixed.
Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And as you know, the fixed signs are perfecters. They're going to take that seed of an idea and they're going to work it out until it's something that can be used and moved upon. If the fixed signs are also the four corners that are holding up the earth. They keep the earth stable. Since they are fixed, a fixed sign can exhibit tendencies of stubbornness. But they're again, it's stability.
They don't like change.
They want my way. This is me. We got to do it this way. We all contain every part of the zodiac within our horoscope, so we can exhibit all of these characteristics in any area. That's why you're going to look at your chart and see, well, where am I fixed? Where am I movable? How can I use this quality in order to get to where I want to go, or and do what it is that I want to do? So now we have the third element, the third quality, and the third quality is mutable. And they're a bit more flexible than the other two qualities. The mutable signs are the developers.
Oh.
They are more adaptable. They will change in order to accomplish what it is that they want to do. They're not going to, They have mutable signs have a goal in mind and don't look at it as a compromise. They look at it as getting it done. So the key word for mutable signs, that's the developers. Okay. So
Okay, so what's the key word for fix? I thought it was develop. I'm sorry.
Perfecters. The key
Perfectors,
word for
okay.
fixed are perfecters.
Okay.
Now we have another 3 level. Oh, and here they are: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Those are the mutable signs.
Sag. Pisces. This is
Next, going to look at the degree of emanation. And the degree of emanation is where these signs appear in sequence in the zodiac. In the first degree of emanation, there are 3 degrees of emanation. The first degree of emanation, the signs in the first degree of emanations are the first 4 signs of the zodiac. And the first 4 signs of the zodiac, and you can look right on your worksheet, are Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. And the people in the first degree of emanation are generally tend to be self-motivated. They respond to ideas, their own feelings and ideas, and pursue their own personal yearnings. They tend to base their actions on what they want and not so much what anybody else wants. So these people have to learn how to consider other people in different ways.
Excuse me, Vanessa.
Yes.
I'm sorry, do we write first degree under emanation for those first 4 signs?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Vanessa, does emanation actually mean like is it another name for like the first quadrant?
Yeah. No, because Cancer is in the second quadrant. You know, so it's just the first 4 signs that appear in the zodiac are in the first degree of emanation.
Okay.
You know, each quadrant of the zodiac contains 3 houses. And Cancer is in, if we're just going to count by the zodiac, Cancer would be in the 4th house.
Then what's the purpose of an emanation then?
Yeah.
It tells how people are motivated and the goal, a different kind of goal that they have. So these the people in the first degree of emanation don't like to be tied down. They want freedom. They want their liberty. Yeah, so that certainly goes for our country. You know, the United States is a Cancer country, and we fought for liberty. We fought for freedom. And the first degree of emanation are those people who want liberty. It's about me. I have to do what I want to do.
Vanessa, is there another word you could use to understand it better? The word emanation?
Appearance in the zodiac. The first 4 signs that appear in the zodiac are looking to establish liberty. They are looking to fulfill their ideas. They are motivated by their ideas and their desires. They are self-motivated.
So is it, would you call them also self-centered or selfish, or just, does that go along with it, or?
Not necessarily. They are more me-focused. That's not, they're just more me-focused. You know, if you also look at it this way, they're the youngest signs in the zodiac. I once took a class by a woman who was trained in Europe, And as she introduced each one of the signs, she talked about how each succeeding sign took some of the characteristics of the preceding sign and developed it in order to get to where they are. So these are the youngest signs in the zodiac. And you know, a child is all about me. Are they selfish? Yeah, a little bit. However, they also are navigating their way through to learn how to get along with other people and how to work with other people, how to share. That's one of the first lessons that people learn. And they talk about everything I need to know I learned in kindergarten. Well, here's kindergarten, the first degree of emanation. Okay. Second degree of emanation.
Vanessa, this
Yeah.
is Peg. You might call them the babies of the zodiac.
Yes.
Or the toddlers of the zodiac.
Yes. Me, I want to. Yeah, so, you know, if anybody's going to throw a hissy fit, it might be.
Vanessa, I have to say that I also think of the word emanation as kind of coming from the word soul. That, you know, we're in soul-centered astrology, and our soul is emanating that need to be focused on yourself, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Hey, Vanessa?
Yes.
Can I say, so like one way I look at the emanations as well is I kind of correlate them to the seasons in a sense. Like when you look at like the cycle of the sun going through the 365, it kind of has a cycle of its own. Like the first degree of emanation is kind of like spring, even though we know Cancer's in the summer. But those people have like bouncy attitudes, childlike attitudes. They're like children of the sun. And then the second degree is like the teenager growing up, and then fall is like old age, and then the last one is winter when they die and everything recycles all over again.
There are only 3 degrees of emanation.
Okay.
So I like your analogy. I think it's very good. But as Cancer brings in the summer solstice, the summer equinox solstice, I hesitate to associate it as closely with the sun, you know, in that way, because it is a second step in one way. I think Vega put it best, is that, you know, and Peg, that the first degree of emanation are the babies, and they're learning, and you have to, in order to learn, you have to focus on yourself so that you know how things react to you. And then once you know how things react to you, you can look at the second degree of emanation, which are the second 4 signs, and they are more teenagers. They have a different kind of independence and a different sure-footedness about themselves. And the second degree of emanation are Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. Notice that in the first degree of emanation, we have 2 movable signs, and 1 each of fixed and mutable. And in the second degree of emanation, which is showing a little bit more maturity and a little bit more stability, we have 2 fixed signs as the bookends, so to speak, Leo and Scorpio.
Scorpio. Okay.
And although Leo is all about having fun, they are also very magnanimous, and they want to share that with everybody. They want to give everybody a little piece of happiness. Leos have big hearts. Virgos want to make sure that everything is in its place so that everybody has enough. Libra thinks that they want to make it fair. And Scorpio wants you to look at it closely. And the third degree of emanation, these are the more mature people. Although somebody would argue with that as far as Sagittarians' mouths are concerned, because they sometimes they don't think before they speak. In the third degree of emanation, we are bookended by the developers, Sagittarius and Pisces. They are mutable signs. And they tend to be more circumspect. They will consider how another person reacts before they act. That's not to say that they're not going after what they want. They are. But they will consider what another person wants before they move.
Hey,
What's
Vanessa,
the, oh, sorry.
Yes, Robert.
would it be fair to say when you think about the first and second and third degree of emanations that it may also speak to the point of a soul reincarnating itself, or like one's a newer soul versus an older soul?
I cannot speak on reincarnation because that is a concept that the Church of Light does not teach.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any others?
Yeah, Vanessa, when this might be jumping ahead, but when these particular emanations are in a particular house, like let's say Aries is in, I don't know, the house of the 7th house or something, would that mean that it's a baby learning, you know, like the first relationships, the first kinds of things like that? Are they, do they carry these qualities with them into the houses?
Yes, they do color the houses. They do color the expression of the planet.
The emanation itself.
Yep. It's not, this is where the art of astrology comes into play. Because you can, you have to look at so many things before you make a, and I don't really like to use this word, but the only one that I can think of now is a determination. You have to look at the planet, you have to look at the sign, you have to look at the house, you have to look at the aspects. You have to look at all of these things and combine them all before you can say, well, this Aries person is just acting about me. It's just about me. And everything influences everything else. And to say that Aries is just going to be this way is not fair to Aries. Because they manifest themselves differently when they're in different positions. Does that answer your question?
But they still carry the traits of their degree of emanation.
Oh, yes, they still carry that, but yes, they do.
But it could be changed or influenced by other things, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we've done 3, we've done 4 and 3, and there were 2 areas we talked about when we were talking about the 3. We talked about the 3 qualities and the 3 degrees of emanation. Now we're going to talk about the 2, and that's polarity or sex. And the zodiac is divided into 2 sexes, just like the human race, and the earth is divided into 2 sexes, male and female. And the male signs are
Aries.
What do you notice about the male signs in this chart?
They all fire and air.
That's right. So what are going to be the female signs?
Fire
and water.
air?
Earth and water.
Okay, hold on. Aries, Gemini.
So yeah, on your sheet,
Aquarius.
where it says sex, you don't write yes. You write male or female.
Am I the only
You
one that
write
thinks it's
none.
strange that Libra is male when it's ruled by Venus?
Venus, no, no, no. I tend to think of Taurus as male, but Taurus is an earth sign. It is, and it's female. And instead of looking at it as male and female, let's look at it as proactive or aggressive or initiating and receptive.
Yeah.
Taurians, sometimes you can think of Taurians, they can make anything grow. And when you're growing something that's feminine, that's receptive, you have to be able to take it in so that you can give it back and let it grow. Whereas fire and air are out there moving. Earth and water are a different kind of mundane. Venus is not just a feminine planet. Venus rules Libra and Taurus. There's another planet that rules two signs that in modern rulership, and that's Mercury. And Mercury rules an air sign, and it rules a earth sign. So I'm trying to get the female signs to come up, but it's not cooperating. Oh, let me go back. There we go. There we go. So there are the female signs.
Okay, what now?
And there you have the glyphs or the symbols. And it's a good idea to learn these symbols, mostly because you just have to write one thing rather than a whole word. It just makes
Because
it
I
easier
didn't
when you
have
take
my
it.
worksheets at the beginning, are the qualities, was that the elements or what was under the quality?
The qualities are movable, mutable, and fixed.
Okay, thank you.
Earth and water.
Oh, it's 9 o'clock. We have a half hour. So let's look now. We've looked at the sex, and then we're going to look at the zodiac as a whole. I've divided into male and female, fire, air, fire, air, fire, air, male. Female is earth and water. And as a whole, this is how the signs appear in the zodiac, starting with Aries. And here we go again, another sign that rules another planet ruling two signs, Aries and Scorpio, ruled by Mars. And Senza in one of the quarterlies very nicely explained how the ancients assigned planetary rulerships to the signs. And if you're interested in looking at it for yourself, because I tried to pick the man's brain, he gave me a book to look at. It's called Kabbalistic Astrology. And yeah, we're just dealing with that which is taught by the Church of Light. So this is just something that if you're interested, you can look at here, but it's not something that is part of the Church of Light teachings. So notice all of the signs. Yeah.
I'm curious about the, if this is soul astrology, why is it they don't go by the esoteric rulers for the signs?
Because that's what Zane said. And it was promised to Zane that the courses would be presented as he wrote them.
Were the esoteric rulers did anybody use them or know about them at his time? Like, I don't know when they came into play.
You know, anything that you look at can inform your knowledge and can inform the way you interpret anything. So I am not going, I cannot address it in this course, but if it works for you, use it.
Yeah, no, I was just curious.
Only because Zane asked that the lessons be presented as he wrote them. And I can't go any further than that. I promised as a teacher not to go any further than that. So here we have the Zodiac as a unit. And does anybody need, we have about 20 minutes left. So we'll probably get to maybe the first 3 or 4 signs. And the first sign that we're going to look at is Aries, the ram, or the lamb. There is another sign that has 2 symbols as well. Aries is the ram or the lamb. It is a fire sign. It's movable with the 1st degree of emanation and masculine. As you see here, it rules the head, things that are first, and the brain. An Aries person is generally of middle stature with a strong body, bushy eyebrows. Diseases that an Aries might get come from being angry, because Aries is ruled by Mars. So in the symbol for Mars, okay, let's see if I can get this in here for you. Okay, here, the symbol for Mars is a circle like that. There's a symbol for Mars. And in the area that says rule, you should put in Mars. You can write in Mars, and you want to try to write in the symbol as well.
Rule, okay, Mars. Oh.
Aries persons are assertive, fiery, they can talk. I thought Geminis could talk, but and Aries can talk. They can be kind of grand. They like to be the first because they are the first. They prefer to be the boss. They can at times exhibit a hard time taking direction. And when they move, they're ready to move, period. They are the pioneers. And why are they pioneers? Because they are also movable signs. Assertive, fiery, militant, executive ability. They're imperious leaders, pioneers, ambitious, enterprising, forceful. They can be overwhelming, impulsive, and rash. And now that last thing at the end where it says keyword, the keyword for Aries is I am. I started it all. I am. Here I am.
Mm-hmm.
Aries have no problem being in front of a crowd. Look at me. This is it. Aries is related to the tarot. It's number 13, the Reaper. The color is light red. And an Aries can be about transformation and death. So what happens during the Sun of Aries? We have a big transformation. We come from winter into spring, into new growth. And then there was Easter. And we are in a Judeo-Christian society. What happened Easter? Christ rose from the dead. He transformed. So it's the major arcanum, number 13, the Reaper. Remember then, son of earth. You don't have to, you can go to look at the Sacred Tarot and you can get this. But it says, remember then, son of earth, that terrestrial things are of short duration and that the highest powers are reaped as the grass of the field. The dissolution of thy organs will come sooner than thou expectest, but do not dread it, for death is but the parturition of another life. The universe reabsorbs without ceasing all which springs from her bosom that has not spiritualized itself. But the releasing of ourselves from material instincts by a free and voluntary adhesion of our souls to the laws of universal movement constitutes in us the creation of a second man, a celestial man, and begins our immortality. So Aries is that ram butting its head and pushing forward, but it's also the sacrificial lamb. So those are two characteristics of Aries. They will push forward for what they want, but they also have the great capacity to sacrifice themselves for another. Meg Dissinger, in discussing, I forget how it came about, reminded me that all of the signs possess both their positive and their negative qualities, because they have to balance themselves out. The best quality of Aries is leadership, and their worst quality is officiousness. Second sign in the zodiac is Taurus, the bull. And that's what I just happen to like Taurians. I think they're just so, you don't think of a bull as being warm and cuddly, but I do. I think of the bull as being warm and cuddly. But the bull also provides a different sense of security that other signs manifest differently. The bull rules the ears, the base of the brain, the neck, and the throat. The bull is ruled by Venus. So they love nice things. They can be quite acquisitive. They like to get stuff. They like money. But they are also industrious and patient. They will keep working at it. To develop something, to perfect something, so that somebody can come along and perfect it. They will bring it to that point where another eye is needed. Bulls are sensitive. It's an earth sign. Although they're practical, they are also sensitive, persistent, patient, like money, ruled by Venus. They're reliable. You can count on them to do something. They exhibit something that isn't very common. It's sense. Common sense isn't as common as we'd like it to be. And the key word for Taurus, I have. It's mine. Taurians feel more secure when they have all of their things with them. And the more things they get, the more toys they like. The more toys they get, and the more comfortable they feel. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So they're just as sensual. I don't tend to think of Librans as sensual, but they are. Because Librans are air, but they, like bulls, appreciate the arts and appreciate the finer things in life. So the symbol for Venus is a circle with a and a cross. Taurus is a circle with the bull's horns. I didn't write that too well, but you got the idea. I hope. Let's get to Gemini and Cancer, and then we're going to call this a day.
Vanessa, before you go forward, could you give us the best and worst qualities?
Oh, yes, thank you very much. The best quality of Taurus is stability. And the worst is obstinacy.
Thank you.
Sure.
Can we also have the tarot card that goes with it, please?
I didn't understand that. Would you repeat it, please?
The tarot card that goes with it, please.
Okay, yes, thank you. Is the Alchemist, number 14. So take something and make it practical, make it of use. That's an earth characteristic. Remember to conserve thy forces, not to recoil at thy works, but in order to wear out obstacles as water falling drop by drop wears out the hardest stone. A well-formulated plan of action followed perseveringly will raise thee by degrees to the heights thou wouldst attain. So, you know, the alchemist can take lead and turn it into gold. And because of their tenacity, their stability, their earth quality, a Taurian will take something and make it useful. Taurians tend to be thick, large people. If they're going to get sick, it's going to be a laryngitis or something of the throat. Because it's a fixed sign, they might experience more constipation than many. Again, in the throat area, they tend to have swelling of the glands in the necks and cough. And Taurus rules the voice. Let's move on. Now, although I'm making you write all of this down, there is another handout that you're going to get at the end of this, because there are some things I know that I'm saying and other people are contributing that are not on the handouts that I'll give you after we finish the Zodiac. And those things are important, and I think that you would benefit from taking them down. So what's next after Taurus? Gemini.
Gemini.
So these are the things that we've already gone through, is that they are the twins. That's their symbol. They're air, a mutable, first degree of emanation, and masculine. So they're more assertive and aggressive. Sometimes masculine and feminine are referred to as positive and negative, like the poles of a magnet. Not the judgment that we associate with positive and negative, but like the poles of a magnet. They attract different things. The twins rule the dual things: arms, hands, upper respiratory system. They're quick. Geminis are the jack of all trades. Sometimes I think the jack of all trades, master of none. But they're good speakers. They can talk about any whole thing. And inquisitive, love to learn. They have executive abilities. They're versatile, they're multitaskers. And things have to change. They demand versatility. Demand something new. The best quality of a Gemini is versatility. And their worst quality is changeableness. Just because they need, something has to go, something has to move. Mercury is no longer available for people to look at, but anyone who's as old as me knows that when they broke that thermometer and they saw the Mercury floating around, it was hard to catch it because Mercury moves so fast. Mercury is the messenger of the gods, and the gods want it yesterday. And that's how quickly Mercury can move. And it's an air sign. That's how quickly the air moves. The key word for Gemini is, I think.
What was the keyword again?
I think.
And what was their worst quality?
Changeableness.
The tarot?
Number 17, the star. Remember that hope is the sister of faith. Shed thy passions and thy errors in order to study the mysteries of true science, and the key will be given thee. Then a ray of divine light will break from the occult sanctuary in order to dissipate the shadows of thy future and show thee the way of happiness. Whatever may happen in life, never injure the flower of hope, and thou wilt gather the fruits of faith.
And what's the sign, the drawing for Mercury?
Mercury has the two horns like the bull on the top. Underneath that, a circle. Below that, a plus. Here, let me put it over here. Mercury.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we've only got 5 minutes for poor little Cancer. They're going to feel so left out. You spent all this time on all these other people and this Cancer. So we'll start with Cancer. We'll review Cancer in more detail when we begin next week. And all of these other signs will be reviewed as well very quickly so that we can get through the rest of the zodiac next week. So here we got Cancer the crab. Water sign, movable, first. I'm sorry? Oh, did I give you the versatility is the best quality and changeableness is the worst quality of Gemini?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to Cancer. Cancer is the mother. Don't follow it with that other word. No, 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 no. Cancer is mother. They want to feed everybody. Cancer rules the breasts, the bosoms, and the stomach. And they're nurturers and want to take care, want to make sure that you're comfortable and you're safe. And also, there's the sign, the crab is very telling. How does a crab move?
Sideways.
A crab never moves in a straight line. It'll move forward to the left, and then it might take a couple of steps back, and then move to the right, and then back. And then finally, it'll get to where it was maybe 2 steps in front of where they started. Also, Cancerians give their best decisions when they've had time to digest the information you've given them. So if you ask for a snap decision from a Cancerian or any water sign for that matter, you're going to get one based on emotion. And it will depend on whatever emotion you inspired when you asked the question. So they could lash out, and because they're sensitive, when a water sign lashes out, it is nasty. Or they could withdraw. So Cancerians can be quite quiet. Because they are a movable sign or a cardinal sign, they also are assertive, and they're the first degree of emanation. So when it comes to feelings, it's my feelings that are the most important. And part of their journey is learning how to consider other people's feelings. And that everybody, although they might step on your toe, didn't step on your toe maliciously. So, sensitive, receptive, timid. They want their freedom. Yes, we do. Guess who's a Cancerian? They have to digest ideas before they can give a learned response. They're not necessarily physically active, although they can be, because again, they're the first degree of emanation and a movable sign. Domestic. They are pioneers. So they're pioneers in the things that concern water, that concern the emotions. Sensitive. And water signs express themselves more easily in psychic matters. And remember that everybody's horoscope has 12 houses and 12 signs and 10 planets. So all of this is part of you to a different degree. So what do you think the key word for Cancer is?
I feel.
I feel. Okay, I feel. I feel. The best quality of Cancer is tenaciousness. Once that claw gets something, it's holding on. Anybody ever been bitten by or grabbed onto by a crab knows, yeah, it's going to take a little while before you can dislodge yourself, that animal from your whatever part it took. But its worst quality is touchiness. You know, not everything is meant for offense. And Cancerians need to learn that. Cancer is ruled by the moon. And the moon is number 18 in the major arcanum. Why did I do that? Wait a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, I'm going to have to get back to you on the card because I put the moon here. I'm so focused on Cancer being ruled by the moon and influenced by the moon that I wrote down the moon for Cancer rather than the sign, the major arcanum that is for Cancer. But it says 18, which is what we got here, the moon.
It is the moon.
Yeah, it is the moon.
It is the moon.
Okay, so,
Mhm.
yep, it says,
I had to look it up, but
Yeah.
false friends, deceptions, and secret foes. Talks about
Mhm.
the moon. It says that whosoever braves the unknown does so at his peril. Hostile minds, figured by the black dog, will surround him with ambushes. Friendly, servile minds will offer him flatteries, and treacherous minds, like unto the scorpion, will plan to attain their ends through his ruin. Observe and listen, but know how to be silent. Again, the best quality of a Cancer is tenacity, and the worst is touchiness. And the key word is I feel. And that's where we stop for today. Next week, we will begin with Leo.
Thank you.
So we've covered the first degree of emanation,
Wonderful.
the youthful signs of the zodiac, those who are starting out. And the first degree of emanation is the first 4 signs of the zodiac and includes all 4 of the elements. Each degree of emanation includes all 4 of the elements.
all right.
And I thought we would have so much time. And now we are here at 9:34. We've gone overtime. That's why Vega came back to remind me, you're done, woman.
You're done. Can we do the closing ritual?
Absolutely. You want me to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Eternal brothers and sisters, we are now about to close the Church of Light meeting in the customary manner. And in so doing, let us consider seriously the kind of life it is fitting a brother and a sister of the light should live. We must each leave this meeting to go about our daily duties, but unless we take with us some higher thought and nobler purpose, we have spent our time here in vain. For knowledge lacking goodness leads to naught but self-undoing. Each brother and sister has pledged himself or herself to put forth an effort to alleviate physical or mental suffering, to dispel ignorance, and to spread truth. Therefore, even as we would be helped by those of our religion who are more enlightened, let us make every effort to assist others, and let each so conduct himself or herself as to be an example of moral purity, radiating life, light, and love upon the world of their endeavors. As has been the custom for eons past, let us arise and face the west, wherein at close of day the solar orb softly sinks to rest and relinquishes his sovereignty to his heavenly consort. And let bear in mind that even as the orb of night reflects the glory of the sun, when darkness would shroud the earth, so should each earnest brother and sister reflect the radiance of our teachings, even amidst the darkness of ignorance, lighting somewhat the most obscure as well as the more luminous paths which they are forced to tread. The lunar mother is symbolized in the minds of our ancient brethren as sustaining nature upon whose breast we lean, and from whom we draw such experiences as nourish and expand our immortal soul. Let us now make the symbol of the religion of the stars. We stand to indicate active volition with right hand raised to heaven in aspiration to science, wisdom, and power, and the left hand pointing to earth, signifying the desire to reflect the divine will and evincing an unconquerable determination to dominate all acts of life by spirit. You may lower your hand and I will pronounce the benediction. O thou eternal spirit, in whom we live, move, breathe, and have our being, dismiss us now with thy blessings. And as we travel along our several ways, let ministers of thine guard our footsteps and light our pathway, that we may not stumble in our blindness. From our hearts, we thank those who have assisted in our researches. And now as we depart, we consecrate our effort to the cause of truth and beneficence. So shall it be.
So shall it be.
Oh, shall
So shall it be?
So shall it
So
be.
shall it be. Amen.
Shall it be?
Thank you, everybody. This